Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the latest episode of the Halt End Talks. You're joined tonight by myself, Scott, and Jamie. How you doing, Jay?
I'm good, man. How are you? Got a bit of a cold. I don't know if you can tell.
Oh, you look incredible. I'm all right, mate. I'm still recovering from my hernia, but I'm back to work and fighting fit. So we're getting there. We haven't actually done an episode for a few weeks because I was in the hospital. We've had bits and bobs going on. So as we come into the last few weeks of the season, we'll be getting back into it. We are going to touch on Forest. We're going to touch on Burnley, and we're going to look ahead to Liverpool. So just a small little segment on each three games. We'll start in a positive mood. It's nearly been a week. What can only be described as one of the best, if not the best, night that me and you have probably had as Villa supporters. Now that you've had a week for it to settle down and think about it more, just overriding thoughts on the whole night, the performance, the game, everything that went with it.
Yeah, it's mad, to be fair. We knew it was going to be a mad atmosphere regardless. You know, it was going to be electric in there. But for the performance as a whole as well, to match the atmosphere, was incredible. Just shows what can happen when the team actually performs on the pitch. I feel like the fans been being dug out a lot by Emery and the players. You know, when you actually give us something to cheer about on the pitch, then that's what you get in return. So it's amazing what playing a bit of football could do to you. But yeah, the atmosphere was electric. It was like Bayern Munich and PSG. Obviously, we were there for both those games. But yeah, I think if we can go on and win it now, we'll look back on this semi-final so fondly. You know, it is incredible just the way we play. We dominated them from, I think, after about the 10, 15-minute mark. Because I think Hutchinson had a chance. I think they put one in for Wood as well. Apart from that, you know, we just outclassed them. Everyone was amazing. I can't think of a bad performer. McGinn was unbelievable. Buendia was unbelievable. Often gets, titled a sub player. Started from the off and was unplayable. Watkins, usually he doesn't get much change out of Milenkovic, but he ran him ragged on Thursday. So yeah, it's such a good game.
Yeah, I think if you were anyone that was there, it will live long in the memory. And to anyone that was watching it on TV or just couldn't be there for whatever reason at home, it will also live long in the memory. I mean, we've been probably lucky the last few years that we've seen two other semi-finals, but to actually win one. And listen, we know, but it won't count for nothing if we don't go and win next Wednesday, which I strongly believe in. But in terms of isolation, that one game, 5-10 years ago, we never thought we'd be in a position. So you've got to embrace it, and obviously it's one for the ages, like the PSG was, like Bayern was, and stuff like that. But obviously, 5-10 years ago, people would have laughed at us if we'd said we were going to be in the European final. So you got to say fair play. We'd been saying all week, you got to go for it. Dad kept saying, didn't he, every day on the bloody WhatsApp village, if they can't get up for this one, they never get up for none of them. And I said to him, well, they got up for it, didn't they? But we need that kind of level of performance in the final. Whether we get that level of performance away from home, because our away form at the moment is dreadful.
Yeah, I was there at our last win away at Newcastle.
Yeah.
It was away at Newcastle. In the league it is. I think we done Spurs in the FA Cup. I think that was after Newcastle. No, that was before Newcastle, actually, because Kamara was playing then.
Bologna.
Yeah, Newcastle was our last away win in the league.
Yeah.
Because we've won in Europe away from home since then. But yeah, that I was there for that game, and it was It feels like a lifetime ago.
Well,
That's yeah. Well,
yeah,
what was it? 5 months ago?
probably
What are we now? May.
January, wasn't it? End of
The
Jan.
whole of January, whole of February, whole of March, whole of April, and then May. So 4 and a bit.
Yeah. But yeah, listen, like I said, I think loads of people have spoke about Thursday on bigger platforms than us, and I think everyone's in agreement. In isolation, it's incredible. I don't think any of us expected Villa to beat Forest. And like you said, certain players were very good. McGinn, or like you said, Ollie never gets any change out of Milenkovic, and did very well. And I'm the first to say Buendia is not the answer, but I think he's played himself into starting next Wednesday, ahead of the opening slot, which is probably between him, Sancho, maybe one of the other midfielders to push Tielemans slightly forward. But
you probably look that lineup we had against Forest is probably the lineup that will play. If I had to put money on it, I'd say that would be the one that plays in the final. I think so.
Obviously, Onana would be the question mark, but we are going to do an episode on Sunday looking ahead purely just to the final.
That's the conversation for then. Yeah,
we'll go into more depth then.
I got a question to ask you, Scotty. Would that Forest game be the best atmosphere you've witnessed? Because obviously the only two that are probably up there is the PSG and Bayern game. Would you say Thursday was better than them ones?
Do you know, it's funny, right? I said to Dad halfway through the second half, or maybe the first half, Dad said to me, feels like a big game. And I said to him, West Brom in the playoff semi-final felt like a big game. But you're obviously different games at different times depending on what you're going through at time. West Brom felt like a huge game. Liverpool semi-final at Wembley was one of my favourite ever games. Everton home when we got back in the Prem, one of the best. Like, that was incredible that night.
Wesley and El Ghazi, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I think the sole magnitude of that game on Thursday, it has to probably be top.
Yeah, it's definitely it's. Do you know what I think? Forest is. I haven't really thought about it too much, but it's definitely obviously it's either number one or it's definitely up there. But going a bit off topic, the loudest I've heard Villa Park. Whether that say Thursday was the best atmosphere, the loudest I heard Villa Park at like sort of one sort of time was when we played City when Jack first came back to Villa Park. I think it was me, you, Az, and it was me, you. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, and it was me, you, Azzy, and I think it was Shannon Tay. Us five were up there that one. And I remember it was just belting out Villa Till I Die, and I was like, Jesus, this is like the floor was shaking underneath us on Thursday, but it was that was the first time I felt, geez, like this stadium's about to fall because it was heavy. Going a bit off topic with that one, but that was probably the loudest I've heard Villa Park. But Thursday as a full 90 minutes, because that PSG game we were quiet for that first half until Tielemans scored, really, because they silenced us by the two goals, feels Dembele and Mendes, I think. And then the Bayern Munich game was good, but it was also a bit nervy because they dominated the ball and they had chances. So you probably say Thursday was up there.
That's what I would echo what you just said. I think the Bayern Munich, I don't know if you there was a nervousness in the air because you knew how good they were, and we were penned in for quite a bit of the game. The PSG game, you went into it thinking we've got nothing to lose. In a bad way, we're thinking, we were saying to like Dad and Kev, your dad, we'll get to watch Kvaratskhelia and Dembele and all these people because we thought we were at the tie. But Tielemans scored, and for 40 minutes, it's incredible. I think Thursday was the atmosphere prior to kick was incredible.
That's the best I've seen. That was better than PSG and Bayern pre-game.
Yeah, and that we actually matched for probably 75 minutes, 80 minutes. We were the better team, which has been something that we've obviously always thrown around. Can we sustain a performance for 85, 90% of the game? which, even prime memory for us, we would always play. So to actually see us dominate a game for that long, it's nice to see.
Yeah.
I think it's top, just purely for the spectacle. But like
especially
I said,
if we end up winning the Europa League, it'll definitely add to the occasion as well because it's helped along the journey of winning silverware.
Yeah. You can take, like I said, you take games in isolation, can't you? I said, the Everton one, the West Brom one. You think the last 5-6 years we've seen some big games.
Yeah.
But on paper, some will look bigger than others. You'd probably say on paper, a quarter-final against PSG is bigger. I think we were having the conversation last week, weren't we?
Yeah.
Most people would say, well, it's quarter-final of the Champions League. But for us, we obviously said, no, this is bigger, semi-final.
It's a shot for the final, isn't it?
Forest as well. But, I'd put it top. But yeah, we're going to do an episode on Sunday night about the Freiburg game, so keep an eye out for that. Looking back at Sunday,
back down to reality.
I mean, if there's any team that wanted to suck you up and suck you down, it's Villa.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I wasn't really expecting much more than what we did because I know I put it on Villa chat after. To get yourself up after being on such a high is hard. Mentally, physically, is like they would have been drained a lot from Thursday. And I know people say they're professional football players, blah, blah, blah. I thought he'd make a few more changes than what he did. But for that first 10, 20 minutes, we looked jaded big time. Burnley, they've got nothing to lose. They scored a good goal. Martinez probably holds it 9 times out of 10, but we showed a good reaction. But what were you expecting from that game Sunday?
For us to win. First of all, I don't think Burnley have got any points at home since February time. I don't think.
Trying to be positive. Trying to be positive.
Yeah, I know. I'll be the bearer of negativity. It was. I thought he was going to go strong. That's what I would have done because you win, you beat Burnley. You rest up a bit for Liverpool, which is what the ideal situation is. But Villa being Villa, can't do it easy. We'll get into Liverpool in a minute, but in terms of Burnley, I thought he would have gone stronger. But I don't know, Lindelof ain't put a foot wrong, and I've always said all season how great he's been. Away to Burnley, do you play Lindelof in there? I don't know. Could you have played a Dougie, or could you have dropped someone in, or could you have dropped Barkley in and fit a Sancho up there? And I don't know. It just seemed a bit conservative to me. And we did end the first half pretty well, and we started the second half well. But for large portions of it, we're being outmatched by Burnley, and it ain't great. Whether that be the players on a bit of a come down from Thursday, I don't know. But it's if you go on to lose on Friday, it's then a situation of Jesus. If you take away that Forest game, our form is absolutely shocking. It's really not what you want going into a final. So for me, I would have gone full. I would have gone stronger on Sunday. Get the qualification done. Rest your players against Liverpool. But who am I to judge?
I think you're right about that Lindelof one. Listen, he was brilliant against Forest, but a lot of the sole purpose was to stop the long balls into Wood. Wood never had a kick. Anytime I went up to him, Torres and Konsa are actually really aggressive, but Lindelof is a good shadow as well. But he's not a progressor on the ball, is he? Which, you'd think maybe Dougie's a funny one. My thoughts on Dougie. He's not pulled up any trees as he probably or have liked to him to have pulled up. But someone like Burnley, I think he probably would have been a better option. And then I personally think, regardless of that result against Burnley, you probably have to start the players that you want to wrap in cotton wool Friday anyway, because I think having a big gap isn't good for no one. But I'd be looking in the second half to whether we won or lost or drew against Burnley, that you'd be taking off Ollie, Morgan, McGinn, and Tielemans.
Yeah.
Um,
Cashy as well.
Probably Cash as the fifth.
Yeah.
No matter how the game was going, that's how I think you need to wrap them players up.
100%.
So for me, I don't think it changes too much. I mean, Bournemouth have got City on Tuesday, and they've got, who have they got last game of the season?
I looked. Is it Palace? No, that's West Ham.
Bournemouth Forest.
Oh, Forest. That's Forest.
Away at Forest.
Mm.
So I don't think they win both games. And Brighton have got Man United after, and they've got Leeds away on Sunday, which is Leeds are playing really well.
Yeah.
I don't see Brighton getting 6 points, so I think either way, I think right. But obviously, as it stands, we're level on points with Liverpool. They've got much better goal difference by 8, and then Bournemouth 4 points behind, Brighton 6. Here's a question for you: if we lose on Wednesday and we come 6th and finish in the Europa League, take away all the finances and the attraction of players, in terms of what we could win next season, would we be better off being in the Europa League to try and win it instead of being in the Champions League, which realistically...
Yeah, I mean, you want to be in Champions League. Obviously, you can acquire certain players, the financial reasons, but I also see the temptation of being in the Europa League. We don't beat Freiburg. We're in the Europa League again. We'll probably be favourites for it again. Where you get the teams that don't drop down now, it's really, it's a lot less of an open market as what it used to be in the Europa League, where it was like when the big boys dropped down from the Champions League, it's like, okay, well, one of them will win it. That's how Emery got all his titles with Sevilla. All of them came from dropping down from the Champions League. Because he won it, got back into the Champions League, and then dropped back down. So the only thing that would annoy me wouldn't even be the financial things. It would be it would be that as well, but it'd be the fact that we were so comfortable and we messed up for ourselves, really. So many times where you've looked at it and you've gone, why have we done this? You look at so many drop points we've had this season, which you look at Christmas time, when we beat Forest at home, 3-1, I think it was, when João Victor made that weird goalkeeping error for McGinn to get his second of the game, I think it was. I think that was the 3rd of January. That game there, you're looking and we're literally, I think, 2 or 3 points off top. And you're like, see what we can kind of come up with. We had a fully fit squad. And we had that period where our squad got decimated and we're just getting it back now. But, you look at Tielemans. Tielemans don't look fully fit. And it's like, he looks like he can't run. And it's like... has he been rushed into it too soon? He came back and we were thinking, he's going to get minutes here and there. He's basically been pushed right into starting 11, playing 90 minutes. Trust element, obviously, with Dougie not being fully fit. Obviously now, Onana's picked up another injury. Bogard, he puts in there, but you can see he doesn't fully like in there. Doesn't like McGinn too deep and central. He wants to play him higher, which we all want anyway. It would be frustrating because our squad is capable of so much more, which we've shown. Drop off in form with Morgan as well. He doesn't look interested most of the time at the minute. Played the most minutes of any player for us. I think Van Dijk has is the only player to have more minutes than him this season. I'm assuming that's just outfield players. And across Europe, I think it's only Van Dijk, Tchouaméni, and Valverde that have more, and Luka Modric at Milan have more minutes than him. And he's the most fouled player in the most fouled team in the Prem. So it's he's been battered and bruised. That could play a part in it, but yeah, it's
We have had a massive drop off. We're
yeah,
as it stands, 20 points behind Arsenal. Like 3 months
yeah.
ago, we were literally on the coattails.
And they haven't been spotless either. Like obviously they've been good, but you think they had the Wolves result. They lost
No,
at home. They lost at home. Was it to Bournemouth the other week? And it's
lost,
like they haven't been spotless either. City haven't been spotless, and it's like,
I was looking at the points totals for the last 2 seasons, and we're below for them.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it shows that we need. I think we've touched on already. We need a big revamp in the regardless. But obviously next week, the perfect chance for this group of players to go down in, Aston Villa folklore, really.
yeah. Obviously, we'll chat about it more on Sunday. But if you don't win on Wednesday, it'll be one of the biggest underdog stories because I think Freiburg are 7th or 8th, but they're like a good 20 points, I think, off Champions League places, or they were when I looked anyway. They're not close to getting in Champions League points wise. They're like the best way to describe it is they're the best of the mid-table in the Bundesliga. There's a big gap between them and the so-called elite teams in the Bundesliga, and I'm including, Leipzig and Leverkusen in that as well. I think it's Hoffenheim's the other one. I think they're in 6th, and I think even the gap from them to Hoffenheim's a bit as well. So it's like,
Yeah, they're quite a few points behind.
yeah. So it's like, that's why I said best of the mid-table. To no disrespect to them, but they're not. You think 7th in the league, you're like, okay, well, they must be pretty decent, which they will be, but there's that big gap in there. It's like they have their own little mini league. Well, Bayern have their own league in themselves, and then it's Dortmund, Leipzig, Leverkusen, Hoffenheim, etc. And you have them. So yeah, if we don't win Wednesday, it'll be disaster. It'll be awful. It'll be like I feel like we're in Atletico Madrid's position, and Freiburg are in Fulham's position from I think the 2010 final, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, I think that was Falcao's Madrid side, and it's that sort of level. I'm thinking anyway. Like, if we turn up and we're like we should be, we'd be fine. If we get the Villa that turns up and we're passive, and you get the one against Burnley, you get the one against. I'm not even going to include Tottenham because that's a throwaway one. But if you just get the one that's threw away so many important games, Leeds at home, Brentford at home, Everton at home. If you get that Villa, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah,
But again, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that more Sunday.
yeah, they're 14 points 6th, but yeah, we'll speak about that on Sunday.
Yeah, it's 6th Hoffenheim, is it?
6th is Leverkusen, Hoffenheim 5th.
Oh, that's it. Oh,
Yeah.
is it close between Leverkusen and Hoffenheim? Because I thought Leverkusen was.
3
I thought
points.
they were flipped. Yeah, I don't know if maybe one of them won on the weekend and it swaps because I thought Hoffenheim were 6th. But yeah, like either way, it's a big gap.
Yeah. Friday, what do you think team-wise? Do you think what are you thinking he'll go for?
Well, I think he's got to go for it now because I think they've ballsed it up, and I thought you go big against Burnley, you have five days to recover, and you go soft against Liverpool and prioritise for the game on the Wednesday. But we've made it hard for ourselves now, where I think he's going to have to play Ollie. He's going to probably play Morgan. He's going to play Tielemans. He's probably going to play Konsa. Needs to play Powell because I love Mings, but we've just gone so far beyond that level. I think it's a combination of us improving in the way we play and him deteriorating a bit. You can see the difference between having Powell Torres on the side to having Mings.
Not sure if Powell will play Friday. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I'm on about like in general, like even touching on the
Yeah.
Burnley game. Like for me, Powell plays against Burnley. You know, we lack so much from deep. without Torres. So we look so toothless, really, without Torres, I feel. And yeah, he's been better defensively as well this season, I thought. So you can see the levels. It's a combination of us improving, Powell improving, Mings deteriorating with the injuries and age and stuff. Brilliant servant for us. But I feel like we have kind of stepped beyond his level, and I think that was so evident on Sunday against Burnley. Maybe Mings plays again against Liverpool. Might be Lindelof and Mings. I'm not sure. I don't know. But for me, I think you have to try get a result out of Liverpool. For me personally, because you still got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, then the Wednesday. But if he rested players and he's thrown it away like he did Tottenham, it is what it is. Emery knows more than me. I'm still going to watch the game. I'm still going to back the boys, even if it's it is that. But I just hope that we give it a bit more than we did for Tottenham, because it's not fair for fans to travel up. They're probably leaving work early, losing out on money to go watch that dross. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't think it'd be like Tottenham at all.
fans don't part with that. Like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. If we win the Europa League, it's all forgotten about. But generally speaking, Villa fans are very fickle. They're very like, we all love Emery, like, but Villa fans, we know where we belong. We know who we are. Don't take the piss. Do you know what I mean? Like, what happened against Tottenham was I was on holiday, so I didn't go up to it. But if I was in England, I would have gone up to it, and Emery would have wasted my day, because he's thrown the game away. We won against Forest, makes up for it. You forget about it. But if we didn't beat Forest, Jesus Christ, the backlash they would have got. Like, there'll be Villa fans calling for Emery's head, because that's how Villa fans are. They're that stubborn, and they're that fickle. So he just needs to be wary, I think, because if we win the Europa League, all forgotten about. But if we throw the Liverpool game and put a stinky performance against Freiburg and don't win, there's going to be Villa fans out there that are calling for Emery's head, which I don't think's right, but they are. And we know that there's fans out there that are very, very much in the camp of don't take the piss out of us. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, Villa fans. Was it Dion Dublin that said all Villa fans want you to do is try, and they'll love you, and that's why we love McGinn. You look at McGinn. McGinn epitomises everything that us as fans would be like. Oh, if I was a Villa player, I'll do this. That's what McGinn does. He smashes into people. He's the energy, and that's what all Villa fans would do. If I was on that pitch, I'd be doing this. I would run till I'd collapse. That's what McGinn does. That's why we all love him. And then you get a player like Morgan, who, for how brilliant he is, doesn't look like he cares to be here at the minute. And it's like, for me personally, whether we win the Europa League or not, hopefully he has a good World Cup. And in my head, it's like, I'm hoping he has a good World Cup, not to come back and benefit Villa, but to come back and be like, okay, well, that just has another 20 million onto his market value. Because I want players that want to be here and play for Villa. You can see Watkins loves Villa. You can see Mings. You can see McGinn. They love Villa, and it's like, that's what you want. Don't get me wrong. He comes back for next season. Still going to support him, but it's just his attitude recently. For me, can't remember what game was. What was the game of recent where he kept giving it away and we ended up conceding off the back of it?
Giving away a lot. He was poor again on Sunday, but one thing he did very well for 2 McGinn goals.
Yeah.
On Thursday,
it's the X factor he provides you, isn't it?
If he turns up on Wednesday next week and he sticks one in the top corner from a free kick and puts one on, the same thing, but I don't know. Is it he's fucked and he's running him, or has someone got in his ear? Listen, he's tied down to a massive contract regardless. So if he's not playing well, he ain't going to get a move. But again, that's probably for another conversation.
Yeah, that's one for the summer. Yeah.
Go on, give me a score pick. Friday.
2-1 Villa.
Yeah, well, I've already written down 2-1, so we're both going 2-1 because neither of us can say we'll draw or lose.
No, I've never ever gone for a loss because deep down I think we'll probably lose. What we'll probably lose 3-0 or something. But I can never say that. I ain't got the bollocks to say that. As he would comfortably say we'd get battered, but I can't.
We need to take a bit of confidence into next week, but it'd be a tough
Yeah,
game.
because Freiburg lost on the weekend as well. I don't know who they've got this weekend, but I know they lost on the weekend just gone.
They lost to
Look,
Hamburg at
that
mid-table.
was it. Hamburg, yeah, because I think Hamburg jumped up to 11th or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they lost to Hamburg. I remember that now. Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, we will be back Sunday night. Keep an eye out as we preview Istanbul, and yeah, fingers crossed we can get a result Friday and take some momentum into Wednesday. But you know, it is the last home game, so I'm sure it'll be a good atmosphere, and you know, people always want to beat Liverpool. If we can go above Liverpool, we pretty much, you know, we'll cement top 5, which we definitely deserve this season. But
I think Liverpool's the only team that Emery hasn't beaten. I don't think.
yeah, they've been poor this year, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
Since Emery's taken over at Villa, we've beaten every team we've played apart from Liverpool.
Yeah, it's just whether they're focused enough not to have one on Wednesday. But I get it. Listen, I've played in cup finals. You have as well. It is hard when you know you've got a cup final. You kind of got to place it to one side. But let's just let's get Friday out of the way, and then
You'll see. Yeah, you'll see when the lineup comes out where his mind's at. Is he thinking let's get Champions League done and we'll rest up, or is he thinking let's part this, let's throw the game and let's focus on Wednesday? You don't know.
Yeah, right. That'll do us. As I said, we'll be back Sunday, so keep an eye out. Apologies that we've not done an episode for a few weeks. If you're still watching, and
Bit manic.
up the Villa from me.
Up the Villa.